This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander, and joining us today, it is Marc and Julie Bennett from RV Love. You've seen them on CNBC and CBS, and you've heard them on iHeartRadio and NPR, and they're the authors of the best-selling book, Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road. Marc, Julie, welcome.
Hi, Tom. Hi, we're so excited to be on today.
Well, we're thrilled to have you, and you guys are true RV celebrities, and that's a thing, I might point out. That is an actual, that's a real thing. So you guys have all kinds of viewers and subscribers. I think your YouTube channel has over 42,000 subscribers, which is astounding to me. That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about how your RV life became your RV life.
Well, you know, it started off almost 6 years ago now, actually, and we were doing some travel and decided we wanted to add more travel to our lifestyles. I still had a regular job at the time, and we decided we wanted to find a way to be able to keep that job and do it remotely, and we were able to do that. And we moved out of Colorado, been on the road for almost 6 years, and we love traveling around. We've been to all 50 states, and even crossed the border into Canada and
walked across the border into Mexico.
Yeah, it's just been an amazing lifestyle. We love it.
We both love to drive, Tom, and so RVing was a great fit for us, being people that love to travel, love to drive, and we wanted to take our dog with us, so no better way to do it than by RV.
Oh, that's great. And you know, we always talk to folks about their transition from having lived in a home and then, you know, going out on the road. But Julie, you have an even sort of bigger transition because you came from Australia to the United States. And so there was that transition on top of transitioning from home to the RV life, and in your case, RV love. So tell us a little bit about how that went.
Yeah. Well, as you can probably tell from the accent, I'm born and bred in Australia, and I moved out to Boulder, Colorado, right after the economy tanked, basically. My business there was doing great until it didn't, and like many other businesses, kind of imploded after the economic meltdown. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to start my life over, I may as well have a change of scenery. And America had been calling me, so I packed 2 suitcases and jumped on a plane, came out here, and really basically started my life over. And about a year and a half, not even 2 years later, I met this wonderful guy, Marc, and we got married in 2011. And fun fact, we've actually been living in an RV longer than we lived in a stick and brick together. But the adjustment period, you know, that's a really good question, Tom. I'm glad you asked, because it was a huge adjustment kind of moving from Australia to America, and I was solo. But it's really interesting that because I was so ready because my life had some challenges at that time when my business went under and everything I'd worked so hard for, my whole life kind of disappeared before my eyes. You know, it was a difficult time for anyone that went through that. And so that was easier to make that change, even though it was a big change, moving countries. I didn't know anyone, didn't have any money, no job, no visa, so I started from scratch. But the funny thing is, when Marc and I, you know, how quickly you can rebuild your life when you bounce back from setbacks. And so Marc and I have been doing that, creating a life together since we met in 2010. And when we decided to hit the road in 2014, everything in life was great. We had a nice townhome, nice home, you know, good jobs, you know, nice cars. So everything was good. So it was actually interesting that when we transitioned to our life on the road, I had more of a challenge, I think, adjusting to that than leaving behind my life in Australia, which might sound strange, but I think it's because I was leaving something that had turned out to be a difficult situation to something better. But I was leaving what was already a good life in Colorado for the unknown on the road. So it was interesting to observe my own emotional difference in how I felt about that.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. And yeah, I would think. I mean, I guess the one commonality is you're living in a home, and so whether you're in Australia or America, there's still some touch points where you're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is familiar. I get this, but then going out on the road and really your home is on wheels. Now suddenly that's a dramatic change. And I know for everyone that's ever come on this show, and we've talked about that transition, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, and it does. And it was interesting too, Tom, that it was slightly easier for me to transition because when we made that transition, I had my regular job that was working from home, and I was able to keep that same work bring with me on the road. Where Julie, so I had that structure of every day I get up and I go to work and I do that. Mm-hmm. And Julie, structure and purpose. And Julie didn't have as much of that because she was trying to reinvent in a different way too. And that's when she was creating RV Love. Mm-hmm. And so it was started out as a hobby, and then it built up more and more, and became what it is today, which is a very different animal than then. And that was more of a challenging transition for her. But speaking of transitions, it was also a big transition when 3 years into the RV lifestyle, I left my regular job, and then Julie and I started both working full-time on RV Love.
Did RV Love sort of reveal itself to you as time went on, or was there a direct, a deliberate purpose in saying, I want to do this? Or did things start to emerge and say, you know what, let's build this and give it a name?
Yeah, that's a good question. And, I've had a background always in communications and writing and creating content and marketing. I've loved all of that, and I wanted to learn more about it. I wanted to learn how to create a blog. I wanted to learn how to make videos. I wanted to, learn how to do social media better. So these were just interests of mine. And so because I was in between jobs, Mark, we were able to live on Mark's salary, so I was able to just play with RV Love. It really was just a hobby when we started. It was a labor of love, and we didn't even monetize our YouTube channel, I think, for the first year, because that's not why we created it. It was just to share and to learn and to experiment and have fun creatively. And so it really did take on a life of its own. We didn't come in with this big strategy that we're going to create this company and this brand and we're going to do this. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have any at all. So it's been very, very organic growth. And we're very much about, staying focused on the reasons that we're living this life, and to have time together and to travel and explore the country and to really, enjoy all the great things that this lifestyle has to offer. So it's a constant juggle, actually, and balancing act, trying to balance the work side of it with the fun side of it, especially now that we have, it did grow to a point where Mark had to decide if he was going to keep doing his job or jump in and do RV Love full-time with me, because it was too much for me and it was too much for him to be kind of doing both. So we just took a big leap of faith about 2.5 years ago in 2017, almost 3 years ago now. And it's paid off, and it's been great. And, we had our book, Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road, came out a year ago. That's doing great, and it's the print run already. So it's just kind of been naturally flowing, which we like. We like that. But we have some exciting plans for 2020. We're starting to take a step back now and say, okay, this was a hobby. Now it's actually something much bigger, and we need to really take a step back and look at how the whole landscape changed, the whole RV space changed, and how do we adjust our sales to work with that in the future.
Our guests are Marc and Julie Bennett from RV Love. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to the RV Advisor Podcast.
RV owners, it's no secret that those manufacturers' warranties just don't cut it. Get the peace of mind you deserve and step up to the RV Advisor Extended RV Warranty Plan. No covered claim is ever denied, with low to no deductibles. To learn more, visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911. Back on the RV Advisor Podcast, I'm Tom Alexander, and our guests are Marc and Julie Bennett from RV Love. And you have a new book right now called Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road. Available on Amazon. It's in Costco stores. Tell us a little bit about Living the RV Life.
Well, the book, Tom, Living the RV Life, is really what we wish had existed when we first started researching this crazy idea of living in the RV way back in 2013. And, we poured through a handful of blogs and some YouTube channels, and there weren't very many of them back then. So it was a piecemeal approach to learning. We put a lot of time and effort into learning all of the different things we needed to understand the different aspects of the RV lifestyle. And we just created what we wished existed when we started, so that when people are thinking about, is this for me or not? What do I need to know about? What are the important things? Because now it's very different in that there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of blogs, a lot of YouTube, and it's actually the opposite end of the spectrum is when we started. There's such a glut of information now. It's kind of information overwhelm, and a lot of confusion and conflicting information is out there now for people. So we've rounded it up in a really easy-to-follow format, 3 parts, 3 chapters per part, so 9 chapters in the book with photographs and, resources and real RVer profile studies and, samples of, budgetary samples, and helping walk people through from the planning part all the way through to buying their RV, finding where to travel, how to plan it, how to meet people on the road, how to adjust emotionally. We cover the whole thing in the book. So it's a really great place for people to get started and give them some confidence about that they're on the right track as part of their research before they hit the road.
Right, and also helping explain the lifestyle to people who still think we're crazy. After we've heard that from a number of our friends, that they've really been excited about our book, people that have been on the road for a while, and that when they shared the book with family and friends, they get the response that, I finally get it. I finally understand what you guys are about.
Yeah. Mark, you actually do road gear reviews. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Julie and I both participate on that channel. It's a secondary YouTube channel that we actually do as a collaborative effort with a number of other YouTubers, and it's a way to be able to talk about gear that we like.
So showcasing our favourite gear in the RV life that makes our RV life easier. So, we show what we use, why we use it, the pros and cons of it, and just run through the technical specifications and the advantages and, pros and cons of it. So it's been really useful. I mean, we're not proponents of just buying gear for the sake of it. There's so much you can buy in the RV life, and we don't all have bottomless pockets. So we really make an effort to focus on what we personally find very useful in our life, and just makes it all easier and more enjoyable and safer. Safety is a big thing for us, so you'll find there's a real theme with a lot of the gear we share really improves RV safety.
Tell folks where they can find you. What's the best place to track down RV Love?
Well, the best place to track us down is our website, rvlove.com. Because that you can find all of our other channels via our main website, rvlove.com. Our YouTube channel is RVLove TV,
and all on social media at RV Love Travel. But as Mark said, everything's there from and I think if you just Google RV Love, we should pop up in quite a few places. But loads and loads of content on the blog that doesn't always make it to YouTube, so that's always the best place to start.
Yeah. Your story is pretty unusual, not in the sense that you're a couple of RVers who love life on the road. We know a lot of folks like that, but your story, Julie, of course, and the transition from coming out of what happened with your business in Australia, and then you come to the United States, Colorado specifically, and you meet Mark, and you fall in love, and you get married, and now you go out on the road from there after having lived in a home. It's sort of the movie of the week, I'm thinking or maybe the movie of the month. It's really interesting. It's really interesting stuff, and I know you're no stranger to media and content and creative stuff. You should think about maybe a screenplay.
Oh, that would be funny, wouldn't it? We'll have to think about who would play it.
Oh, the heck with it. Just play yourselves. Come on,
Oh, no, I'm not a good actor.
Well, listen, we really do appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us. And we'd love to have you on again and hear some stories. You said you're in Palm Springs right now, and maybe the next time we catch you, you'll be somewhere else beautiful and special, just like Palm Springs is. So we look forward to a future visit from the Bennetts, who allow us to all live vicariously through your adventures.
Oh, Oh, thank you, Tom. We're actually going to be in the Sunshine State in Florida in January, so hopefully we'll get to meet you in person at the Florida RV Super Show in January.
We will be
around and seeing what you're shooting.
Yeah, we will be there. We want to meet up and say hello in person. That would be great. Thanks again so much for coming on the RV Advisor Podcast.
Thanks for having us, Tom.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander. We thank you for listening. See you next time. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the RV Advisor Podcast with Tom Alexander. This podcast is produced in association with Studio Alpha and Alexander Productions in Miami. Visit thervadvisor.com for more.